All right, as discussed, today we're going to talk about my top 5 favorite things about my 12 valve. Let's go. All right, well, the last video I was talking about the top 5 things I hate about this truck. Today we're going to talk about the top 5 things I love about it. And I got to be honest with you, it's kind of hard to narrow it down to 5 things. I do love this truck. I mean, it's a cranky old broad and it gives me a hard time with everything. But you know what? Being able to build this with pretty much any parts I wanted was definitely a dream come true. And let's start jumping into my favorite stuff. All right, well, the first thing that I have to say is my favorite aspect of this truck is without a doubt power. This thing is not insane by today's standards. I know there's a lot of trucks out there with 800, 900, 1,000 horse, whatever. This one has 542 and 1310 at the wheels, and that was dynoed with both duals on, and those are 37-inch tires. So on stock size tires, you know, we could probably call this 600 horse or maybe a little more pretty comfortably. I didn't want giant power. What I really wanted was drivability. And this thing, there's a few little tweaks that maybe I would have done differently, but the real superstar status of this truck is highway hills. If you've ever seen that show Highway Through Hell, that's in between Kelowna where I live and Vancouver, and some of those hills on there, I mean, this truck in lockup just motors up stuff so effortlessly at full-on freeway speeds. It is unbelievable how much usable torque and power it has. So absolutely, hands down, my favorite aspect of the truck. All right, now the next thing that I will say is fuel economy. The amount of good highway mileage that this truck gets is absolutely shocking. I have a couple of other vehicles. I've actually got a few other vehicles, but my Xterra and my Dodge Dakota RT, they both get about 18 miles per gallon, best case scenario on the highway. And I had thought that this would be, you know, somewhere around there. And shockingly, it's almost 50% better mileage than those. Now, we're in a time right now where diesel is a lot more expensive than gas, which is just ridiculous. But typically, diesel is cheaper, which is definitely going to help with the economy side of things when that gets back. But that's the one thing that has shocked me about this truck. So I did a couple of things on purpose to try and improve mileage. The first one is that the truck is a little bit under geared. They had originally 355 axle ratios, and going up to 37s, I would have had to go to 430 ring and pinions to keep the stock highway RPMs. So I purposely went to 411s just to try and lower the RPMs a bit. There's a few aspects of daily driving that maybe I would have gone the other way, but because this has so much torque and power, it does deal with it pretty well for the most part. It's not quite as spunky off the line as I would like, but it is still pretty impressive for what it is. So the best I've measured with this truck was a little over 26 miles per gallon, and that was doing 60 miles an hour on a flat road. So that was cruise control isn't hooked back up yet, so that might help it a little bit. And then also I had the tow mirrors kind of folded out, which because this truck is so wide, I always drive around like that, but that might increase it a little bit. So maybe we could argue that it'll get up to 27 or so, but either way, super shocking with how good the mileage is. All right, reason number 3 is that to me, when this thing is all done and the bugs are worked out, to me, this is basically the ultimate truck. I mean, fuel economy for days, huge horsepower, it's on 37-inch tires, Carly Dominator suspension, you know, air lockers front and rear. It's got the Raptor liner paint, which is super scratch resistant. You don't need to worry about that. You know, I've gone in and done a couple layers of sound deadening everywhere inside the cab, so it definitely helps to keep it warmer in the winter. I mean, the list just goes on and on. This thing has got so much goodies on it, and like I said, lots of bugs to be worked out, but to be able to build something like this with basically just a blank checkbook was a total dream come true. And eventually, when I get it all sorted out, I mean, this truck will be pretty tough to beat. All right, next up, something that I haven't used the truck for towing yet, ever, at all. As you can see, it doesn't even have a tow hitch on it, but this should be a really capable tow vehicle when it's done. I mean, in addition to the compound turbos and all that kind of stuff that's going to give it lots of power and good manners for towing, it's also got a AFE Blade Runner GT intercooler that was really expensive, and you know, that's supposed to help dramatically with EGTs. I mean, we'll just see when we get there. I've got a 5-inch pack brake, exhaust brake for it. The tranny, in addition to being built, the valve body's got a bunch of features where you can go into lockup in every gear and shift in lockup, which could help in an emergency situation. You know, just sort of stuff like that. The Carly Dominator suspension comes with a set of long travel airbags, so when it's got a big load in the back, you can kind of keep it pumped up and keep the stance and proper functionality of the shocks. You know, just all that kind of stuff. It really should be a spectacular tow vehicle, but we won't know until we get there. All right, now finally, one thing I just love about this truck is the body style. Being a regular cab dually, I've always loved these. It's a bit of a rare thing. They're definitely around, but when I came across this truck, it just immediately jumped on it. My wife would have preferred that I got an extended cab, and that would be good for certain situations, but you know, I do a lot of city driving in this truck, and this thing is pretty nimble for what it is in parking lots and that kind of stuff, so neither one would be a deal breaker necessarily, but I just love the regular cab dually look. All right, folks, thanks for coming along as we talk about the top 5 things that I love about this truck. Please give me a thumbs up and subscribe, and we will see you on the next one.